What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. And today it's Thursday, so I'm uploading my Week 11 predictions. Again, the top 10 games I am most excited to watch personally. There are a lot of exciting games happening in Week 11. I know not every game is going to be on here. So if you see a game that's not on this list that you would like me to preview, please leave it in the comment section down below, and I will give you a little preview prediction on that one. But yeah, these are my 10 games that I'm most excited for this week. There's a lot that can happen around college football this week. It's going to be an overall really, really fun and exciting week. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into it. But first off, thanks for clicking on this video. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Or if you find yourself coming back, hit it as well. Other ways you can support the channel by liking, commenting, ringing the bell, sharing the videos. Any way you can really does help grow my channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the Week 11 predictions. Again, top 10 games that I am most excited for this week. All times you're going to see are in Eastern Standard Time, and all lines and odds are, as of recording this video, they're subject to change, but this one probably won't change a whole lot. North Carolina is going to be looking for another upset. They pulled off the upset last week against Wake Forest. They're going to look to do it again against Pittsburgh, who's the 21st ranked team in the nation. This is the 7:30 game on ESPN. Actually, that plays tonight. Hopefully this video is out before that game gets started. It should be. But Pitt right now is a 6.5-point favorite, and I don't expect that to change much. This is going to be a very exciting game, and as usual, I'll give you some things to watch for when you're watching this game tonight. Howell and Chandler, some very great rush threats for North Carolina. Ty Chandler, one of the leaders in the nation in rushing. I believe he has somewhere around 900 yards. Really, really good back. Of course, the transfer from Tennessee. And then Sam Howell has proven his dual threat ability all year long. He's been able to run the football with great efficiency this year. But the Panthers' rush defense is one of the best in the nation. So that is going to be a very interesting thing to watch. How does North Carolina handle this rushing attack from the Pittsburgh Panthers? We'll see how that goes. But when you look at the other side of the ball for Pittsburgh, their offense is lighting it up. They're the number one scoring offense in the nation last time I checked. So some really, really good players over there. And Kenny Pickett should be in the Heisman conversation. He's been playing really, really well against some really good teams, and a huge reason why Pittsburgh is ahead in that division in the ACC. Again, North Carolina's been in disappointment this year. This game probably won't change the fact that Pittsburgh will still be first in that division, although a win for North Carolina will definitely make that division more interesting. But I expect this game to have a lot of offensive firepower. You see the over-under at 72. Vegas is thinking so also. I expect a lot of points scored. A lot of points scored in this game. Not a lot of defense, but I do think that Pitt's defensive advantage. Pitt has been playing better defense than North Carolina. I think Pitt's defensive advantage will go ahead and take over and win this game. Again, don't pay too much attention to the score. Pay attention to who I have winning and by how much, but you can look at the score if you want to. It doesn't matter. Just a fun little add-on, but my predicted final score is 52-40. Yeah, I know, a lot of points. I expect a lot of points in this game tonight. It should be a very, very fun game if you're going to end up watching live on television, or hey, if you're going to be at the game, great, awesome. But this should be a very, very fun game to watch. I expect nothing more than a shootout. Lots of points are going to be scored, and I have Pitt winning a shootout tonight. All right, Michigan is going to hope to avoid having their season spoiled by Penn State. So Penn State, I've said before, is a team that, while they're not going to make the Big Ten championship game, they're not going to make the college football playoff, they're probably not even going to make a New Year's Six Bowl. They are going to make someone's season, or they are going to spoil someone's season. They're going to make someone's life hell. And it could be the Michigan Wolverines coming into town this week as the 6th ranked team in the nation, coming into Happy Valley. Again, Penn State has already had their whiteout game, so this is probably going to feel like a whiteout type game, right? This is the noon game on ABC. Penn State did open as the favorites, but since then, Michigan has crawled to be a 1.5-point favorite. Corm and Haskins are the best running back duo in the entire nation, but they're going to face a struggling Penn State Lions rush defense. This rushing defense has been struggling mightily for Penn State, and even their rushing attack for Penn State has been struggling as well. And Michigan has some of the best defensive linemen in the Big Ten, probably has the best defensive lineman in the nation in Aiden Hutchinson, although that can be argued, but that's that's a subject for another day. But Corman Haskins, they should be able to shred through this Penn State defense. How will Penn State adjust? How will they get to stopping Corman Haskins? Because that's going to be a big thing for this one. Sean Clifford, he looked really good in the game against Ohio State and looked pretty solid in the game against Maryland as well. How does he play in this game against the Wolverine secondary that has had its struggles this year? And it's against the Wolverine secondary that especially does not like to play with pace. As soon as you start getting the ball moving at a pretty rapid pace, Michigan's defense kind of gets on their heels and says, whoa, slow down. We don't like this. But I think the big thing here to watch is the Penn State offensive line. The Nittany Lions are going to have their hands full because there are a lot of great pass rushers that are on the opposite side for the Michigan Wolverines. So this is definitely a very interesting game to watch. Michigan trying to keep their Big Ten title hopes alive. They're even going to need a little bit of help here from, dare I say it, Ohio State if they want to do it. But they got to get through this one first. I think Happy Valley is going to be pretty happy with the result of this game because I do have Penn State beating Michigan. My final score prediction, 27-21. I think Penn State playing at home, playing in this environment. Penn State has played well enough this year to be a top 10 team. They've been up there. They've played like it. And yes, they've dropped their last 3 games before winning at Maryland. But those were to some pretty decent teams. Again, Ohio State, that's a decent team right there. No real argument there. And again, I think Penn State is going to get back to their winning ways this week. And I think they're going to pull the upset here against the Michigan Wolverines. Oklahoma is going to look to remain unbeaten as the 13th ranked Baylor Bears are going to hope to ruin the longest win streak in the nation now with Oklahoma. This is the noon game on Fox, big noon kickoff. 5.5 is the line which Oklahoma is favored by. And why wouldn't Oklahoma be favored? Caleb Williams has been fantastic for the Sooners. We'll have to see how the Bears defense play him in this game. That's going to be something that's going to be very interesting to watch. How do the Baylor Bears end up containing Caleb Williams? Because he can throw, he can pass. He's made some very, very good plays this season as well. So that's something interesting to watch. But the Bears have an explosive offense of their own. It's not just one guy. It's the entire group. The running back group has played fantastic. Probably the most underrated running back duo in the entire nation with Treston Ebner and Abram Smith, right? So this is going to be a very offensive game. I feel like the offense are going to come down and score. The thing that I'm worried about with the Sooners is that they haven't played a complete game yet. In games that their defenses looked well, their offenses looked shaky. And in games their offenses looked really good, their defense has looked shaky. That's why they're sitting at number 8 in the nation. Yes, they're undefeated. Yes, they've had to battle through all these wins. But again, that's part of it, right? They've had to battle through all these wins. They haven't had a complete game performance yet. And while I still don't think they have a complete game performance in this one, I got to pick Oklahoma. Oklahoma, to me, I think is going to find a way to win this one, as they have all season. I think Oklahoma is going to find a way to win this game. They're going to come through out with their 10th win of the season. And I think Oklahoma going to come out of here with a win in Waco. This will be a very significant win in Oklahoma's toughest stretch this season. Again, they play Baylor, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. I think this is a great step in the right direction. And Oklahoma is one step closer to reaching yet another berth in the college football playoff. Georgia is going to be looking for win number 10 as the top-ranked team in the nation. They're going to take on Tennessee. This is a pretty interesting matchup here. 3:30 on CBS is where you can find this one. Georgia, no surprise here, is the 20-point favorite. But can you blame Vegas? I mean, this Georgia defense has been playing really well this year. They're at a historic pace. That they haven't allowed an opponent to score more than 13 points in a game, only allowing, I believe, 6 offensive touchdowns on the other side, 5 or 6 somewhere, some crazy number like that. Georgia's defense has played outstanding. But what happens when Georgia's defense faces a team that can score? They face some teams already where their offense has been good, but it hasn't been great. This Tennessee offense is going to give Georgia a little bit of a different challenge. Does Tennessee have the players to beat Georgia? I don't think so, but we're going to find out in this game what happens when Georgia plays a team that can score. Again, it's not an elite offense at Tennessee, but it's probably the best offense they have played to date, seeing how Clemson has performed. I mean, Arkansas doesn't have a bad offense. Auburn doesn't have a bad offense, but Tennessee ranks highly in the nation and highly in the SEC and a lot of offensive categories. But speaking of offense, you got to look at Georgia's offense. I've said before, I think they can open up the playbook more. And while I still think they can, Stetson Bennett has been found as the guy, right? Last week, he was throwing these crazy throws, some very deep shots that he was able to connect. And with JT Daniels still kind of hurting with an injury, having some of those problems, Stetson Bennett has proven he can be the dog's guy. What happens when he faces a comparable defense? He's not going to get to face one this week, as the Vols defense has been very thin this year, and it's been lacking. And all these factors just should lead to another Georgia win. I think Tennessee is going to be the first team to eclipse the 13-point mark against Georgia. But alas, I still think they lose by 18. 34-16 is my final score prediction. Georgia's going to stay the number 1 team in the nation and get win number 10. Okay. This is an interesting game, and in my opinion, could be a contender for game of the week, a sneaky contender for game of the week. This one should be a lot of fun to watch. It's the 3:30 game on ABC. Purdue is going to be looking for yet another top 5 upset. They already got 2 this year against Iowa and most recently Michigan State. They're set to face Ohio State, who just moved up to 4th in the nation in the shoe in Columbus. And I was very surprised. And you guys know I'm an Ohio State fan. Sorry, wrong side. There you go. I'm an Ohio State fan. But I was very surprised to find that Ohio State was favored by 21 points. I think that is way too high. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than that. 62.5 is the over and under. There are so many things I could say about this game. But I think one thing to watch for is David Bell. He's been playing tremendously this year. Has over 1,000 yards on the season. The Buckeyes' young secondary. Again, this is the secondary that has started to play better in recent weeks. But we forget how young they are, right? This is still a young group of guys, not even just in the defensive back group, but all around. And the linebacker position is especially one that's young. Ohio State fans, including myself, have become increasingly worried about that position. But over the past couple of weeks, our defense has been playing solidly. But again, it's got to step up in a big way when we face an explosive player like David Bell. But when you look at the other side of the ball for Ohio State, in my opinion, this is the best offense in the entire nation. But the past couple of weeks, they have had their struggles in the red zone. Penn State had one of the best defenses in the country. You could probably excuse that performance. But against a team like Nebraska, they struggled to put the ball in the end zone when they got those opportunities. Hence why they only won the game by 9. So this is a very interesting matchup because Ohio State fans out there, you can just plug your ears. But do you remember 2018? I know Purdue fans remember 2018. Ohio State came in. It was a huge line. Ohio State was, favored to win. And then Rondale Moore tore up the Buckeye defense. Can we see the same story with David Bell? I think in a way, yes, we will. But I think this Ohio State team is going to bounce back. They're going to play better. I think they get their red zone stuff together, at least somewhat, right? This is the Purdue defense that hasn't been terrific this year. It's been pretty solid, but hasn't been terrific. And I think Ohio State ultimately just outscores Purdue here in this game. My final score prediction, 38-27. I do think Purdue keeps this one relatively close, but this should be a very fun game. Again, you can watch this one 3:30 on ABC. This should be a very fun game. All right, moving on now. We're going to stay in the Big Ten, though. Minnesota and Iowa are going to set for battle in the wide open Big Ten West. And in my opinion, this is a very important game. Look, Iowa is 4 both of these teams are 4-2 in the division. And while both of these teams have Wisconsin and Purdue ahead of them, Minnesota has yet to play. Minnesota has beat Purdue, but is yet to play Wisconsin. So they're currently sitting at second. Iowa currently sitting at last. So Iowa has a chance to boost their resume here, boost their chances of winning the Big Ten West with a win in this one. The Gophers have a running back, or this is the 3:30 game on Big Ten Network, by the way. Iowa favored by 5. The Gophers have a running back factory I am noticing here. Again, Ibrahim has gotten hurt. Potts has gotten hurt. Williams has gotten hurt. They still have guys that are stepping up and playing well, but that depth is going to get tested eventually, right? And when you face one of the best defenses in the country, probably a place where it's going to get tested. So the Gophers running back group, I'm very interested to watch how they run the football in this one. And a big storyline coming out of this one, Spencer Petras has been benched. Alex Padilla is going to start. Caleb Williams version 2. I think Iowa definitely is hoping so. Giving a spark to this offense would mean so much for this Iowa team. They're already out of playoff contention. They're not out of Big Ten championship game they're not out of the Big Ten championship game conversation. They're out of contention for the playoff, but can Alex Padilla come in and provide a spark to the offense? That's going to be a crucial thing to watch in this game. Still don't expect a lot of scoring, but this Hawkeye offense versus the Gopher defense going to be something to watch, as I just said, with Alex Padilla. But I think Iowa's defense is going to be too much. Minnesota's defense is really good as well. In fact, I believe they're top 10 in yards per game allowed. But Iowa's defense is also ridiculously good, and they can force turnovers. That's something that Minnesota's defense, while they can do, they can't do it at the clip that Iowa does. So I think a lot's going to fall on Tanner Morgan. I think he's going to make a couple bad throws, and that's the difference here as Iowa starts to get more momentum in the Big Ten. Texas A&M and Ole Miss are going to play for control in the SEC West, not first place, but second place, and they have an outside and probably have an outside chance at Atlanta. And for Ole Miss, I believe they're fourth in the SEC West right now. Again, they're only going to be 4-2, and they lost to Auburn. But again, an outside chance at Atlanta for both of these teams. Definitely. This is the 7:00 game on ESPN. A&M is favored by 2.5, which I found pretty interesting as well. Can Calzada outplay Matt Corral? And can they control the pace? Texas A&M has really stepped it up on the defense, which again, that's another thing to watch, right? Which defense plays better in this game? A&M has stepped it up on the defensive end, but how well are both of these quarterbacks going to play? We know what Matt Corral can do, but Calzada at times has struggled this year with Haynes King probably not coming back for the rest of the year. So we'll see what Zach Calzada can do. This is not a defense that is outstanding, but is a defense that is much improved from last year. And the battle of the rush games. Ole Miss rush game has really exploded in the past couple of weeks. And for Texas A&M, Isaiah Spiller, A-Chain, really, really good backs in it of themselves. So this is going to be a very interesting battle in the SEC, a battle of top 15 teams. And if you watched my video yesterday, you know where I'm leaning with this one. I am predicting Ole Miss to win a thriller. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of offense, but I think Ole Miss, with the offense that is in place under Lane Kiffin, is going to score enough to put down Texas A&M 31-30. My final score prediction is Ole Miss, I think, is going to be able to beat the Aggies. Notre Dame is going to look to continue their winning streak as they're going to face a sneaky Virginia team. This is the 7:30 game on ABC. Notre Dame is favored by 5.5. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but wouldn't it be something if Virginia was able to pull off the upset against Notre Dame? That would be something. It also hurts Cincinnati's playoff chances. So a lot at stake here, but Brennan Armstrong, hey, lives up to his last name, doesn't he? He has a very strong arm, one of the leaders in the nation at passing yards. In fact, might even be first in the nation in passing yards. Not quite sure on that, but Virginia has been quite a surprise this year. And just imagine if they're going to be able to beat Notre Dame, right? But if they're going to beat Notre Dame, they got to stop Notre Dame's rush attack with Kyron Williams, who finally got it going last week, right? Didn't eclipse the 100-yard mark, but did get 2 touchdowns. And in my opinion, probably had his best game of the season. Again, that's just my opinion. Don't come at me. But the Cavaliers of Virginia are relentless. And their relentlessness, try saying that word 5 times fast, their relentlessness is going to show up here in this game. Virginia is not going to back down from a fight. Brennan Armstrong is going to keep them in this game. But Jack Cohn and or whoever happens to start at quarterback for Notre Dame, whether it be Jack Cohn or anyone else, there are the weapons there at Notre Dame to win this game, of course. And the offensive line has been playing better. The defensive line has been getting pressure to the quarterbacks. This is an interesting matchup, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Notre Dame here in this one to win their 9th game of the season. So number 9 gets win number 9, 38-34. This should be an interesting one. This one should also be interesting. NC State and Wake Forest. Yeah, I know there are a lot of good games. I was sad to find out that this is the 7:30 game on the ACC network. Doesn't mean that I can't watch it, but that means that a lot of the nation can't watch it, right? If you have the ACC network, I highly encourage you watch this game. It is going to be a fun one. But if you don't have the ACC network, it's okay. I'm here to cover it all for you. This is going to be a very fun game. The 16th ranked team in the nation versus the 12th ranked team in the nation for control in the ACC Atlantic. The winner of this game jumps in the first place in the ACC Atlantic, even though Wake Forest has a loss. Again, when they played North Carolina, wasn't technically a conference game, and there was, okay. Wake Forest find themselves the 1.5 point favorites. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, I realized I only had one key there, so I fixed it. There you go. That is all I wanted to put on there. I don't know how that crossed my mind. Anyway, let's look at the keys for this game, right? The Demon Deacons offense has been playing tremendous this year, right? But so has the Wolfpack defense, right? So that's going to be an interesting battle to watch. Will the Deacon offense or the Wolfpack defense control this game? And getting more in depth here, can the Wolfpack force turnovers in this game? Again, this is a Wake Forest team that scored 70 points with 17 minutes of possession against Army. Wake Forest does not mess around on the offensive end. So can the Wolfpack defense come up with enough stops to really get this thing done, right? They're going to have to pull away with some key stops, some key defensive plays, and get their defense off the field. But rushing attacks for these teams, I think is going to be an interesting thing to watch here as well. Again, Wake Forest missing Kenneth Walker right now, right? Look at what he's done over at Michigan State. But then when you look at NC State, Zonovan Knight has been playing well this year and really can get it into the teeth of this Wake Forest defense that has not been great this year. And I think that's what comes down to it. While NC State, they have a competent offense. Their offense is still no pushover. But Wake Forest defense has not been playing well. And I think this NC State defense is going to come up, make some big plays. And I think NC State is going to come away and win this game. 40-35 is my final score prediction. I do expect offense in this game, but I expect NC State to keep pace with Wake Forest and make that one extra stop that they need to win this game. And the Wolfpack will walk away leaders, the new leaders of the ACC Atlantic. And hey, let's show the group of five some love here, right? Nevada and San Diego State, two teams that are pretty darn good in the Mountain West Division, and they're going to look to take control of it right here. Both teams sit at 4-1. These are the top two teams in the Mountain West. Not going to spend too much time on this one, but hey, if you can stay up to watch it, please do. 10:30 on CBS Sports Network. San Diego State is the 3-point favorite, but when the Aztecs play a scoring team, look at when they played Fresno State, right? Fresno State was able to come out and beat them with scoring. They were able to score enough points to beat San Diego State. And Fresno State is not a bad team by any means. Nevada has that same thing. That they have Carson Strong, Toa Taua, Romeo Dubs, Cole Turner, lots of offensive weapons. So that's a mismatch there for the San Diego State team because they don't have enough offense to back it up. But big plays are going to define the game on both sides of the ball. I expect Nevada to take a lot of shots in this game, 2 Dubs, 2 Turner, and I expect this San Diego State defense to, come up with some big stops here every once in a while, but running the ball is key. San Diego State doesn't defend the run particularly well. They defend the pass really well, which is another thing to watch. How well does Carson Strong sling the football in this game? But for San Diego State, again, I picked Fresno State to beat San Diego State, and I was right. I'm going to do the same thing here. I don't think that San Diego State is going to have enough offense to keep pace with Nevada, and while San Diego State's defense will come up with some big stops, I think Nevada scores enough points to win. 23-14 is my final score prediction, and Nevada will take control of the Mountain West, hopefully get to the Mountain West championship game, what Nevada fans are hoping for. And I'm going to end this video before my green screen decides to break itself. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And hey, enjoy your week 11 of college football. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I will see all of you guys with my Ohio State fan reaction on Saturday. Goodbye.